Okay, this is a personal recording of mine I'm doing for a potential video idea of talking about mom, and this I think is just going to be for personal reasons, because I really want to make something for her in honor of her. And I think especially the last week, when I went to Bible study, we were talking through about like what happens with people in the afterlife, and like what our thoughts are, what they could possibly be doing if they made it to heaven or went to hell. And just the thing that came up in the conversation was when I just really wanted to get out to the group and talk about mom and talk about my thoughts of her and what she's doing, and hopefully in heaven. I just thought this was something for prosperity reasons. Not even maybe prosperity reasons, but just there was something that was just bugging me since yesterday to write about this. So the following I have written is written on October 7th, 2023. Written by myself, Jessica Detloff, if you don't already know who I am. This is entitled Hope and Faithful, Keeping Mom Alive. The words that came to my mind when I was thinking of my mom and wanting to keep her memory alive after passing away almost 6 years ago, two words kept coming to my mind. I hope. I hope her memory never dies like she did, unfortunately, on April 23rd, 2018. I hope when people do remember her, they don't cry but smile. But if they do, they cry tears of joy. I hope to learn everything about my mom and meet people who knew about my mom or was really close friends with her and just sit and listen to stories about her. I hope people, my family and friends, remember her joy, her happiness, her smile, and most of all, her kindness. What she did for so many people, as well as several organizations, and how she bent over backwards for people. Her kindness spread far and wide, and it wasn't until her funeral just a week after her passing how far her kindness spread. When the church was packed, I remember walking in with my head down and walking down the aisle of the church. And once I sat down, tears were streaming down my face. I turned around seeing all the people sitting in the pews and everyone sitting on the second floor packed. It was all the love and kindness she gave being returned to her in the church that day, and seeing all the people flood out of the church and into the cemetery. I hope her memory never fades in my memories. While I feel the weight of grief has lightened, some days it feels like the first day, and I just fall apart. Some days it does still hurt, even after almost 6 years of her being gone. But that's not what I want to remember. What I want to remember as my mom who loved me for who I was. The weird kid who loved performing in the high school band and plays, who loved to draw and write and do photography. She was my biggest cheerleader, who embraced my love for making videos. She pushed me to become successful. She wanted me to simply try. And that's all I hope for myself and what I want to continue to do. In my incredible growth of my faith and having the peace of mind, knowing she is somewhere where she is no longer in pain, no longer carrying her weight on her heart. She is smiling, sitting with her mom and dad, talking and laughing, and reminiscing about the good old days. While there is a lot of things I hope for, I want to finally find my peace. I want to finally move on and change. I finally want to live in peace and walk with God, and continue my path to be closer to God. And going back to church and realizing the destructive path I was on the last 6 months. I thought I was going on the right path. I thought I was riding on a high on life until I wasn't anymore. If there is one thing I want my mom to know, if she's listening, and I'm sure she is watching me, I hope she knows that I am finally happy. And I have God to thank for that. While I hope for a lot of things, I am hopeful I remain at peace and spread mom's kindness even farther and simply just try. Because I feel like there is something that just always keeps bringing me back. There's never a day that goes by And obviously I don't think about her even after almost 6 years of her being gone. I don't know. I've tried to understand. There's just so many different things that I just don't want to weigh down my heart, because it's done it to me before, and I'm in the art of just being at peace with myself. Finally being at peace with myself and understanding that if I instill everything that I've learned since coming back to church on Father's Day weekend of this year, that if I just instill myself in my faith and walk with God, I feel like I can finally find the peace I've been trying so hard to find, and trying so hard to come to terms with everything, and just understanding that I I don't know. I feel a lot more happier. I'm not saying that I'm going to completely forget about my mom. That's not me. I don't ever hope to forget her, because she is, as I just mentioned in what I wrote, she was just so positive. She was so kind. She was everything to me. She was my best friend, and I think a lot of people knew that. She was more than my mom. She, like I said, was my best friend, and to wake up and to go on, it was hard. And I feel a lot of people, just because I'm young, call me dramatic or don't want to understand the story. I don't know. I just need to quit worrying about all the negativity that surrounds how I feel and what I want to do, and what's led me to the moment of me sitting here talking about it and going on for now 9.5 minutes, and wanting to sit and edit and talk about this, and just, I don't know at this point in time. I want people to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like if it's a broken record for people, fine, but I want to reach people who may stumble upon this, or just now are sitting like me, sitting in their apartment with the bottle in their hand and a knife in the other, trying to figure out what they want to do next, or what's the next way to go, if this is the right way to go, of simply taking the destructive path that I seem to put myself back on after, when I thought I finally came to terms with everything, when I really didn't. Everything just came back and just slapped me in the face, and just led me to being destructive to myself once again, but going even farther than I never thought I would find myself going, until suddenly when I started just on a whim of going back to church, and then just going to church with my brother's sister-in-law, or wife, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, whatever, his wife, finally coming full circle and just realizing that what I was doing to myself was not good. And all I was going to do is end up unfortunately, where my mom is currently at, 6 feet in the ground, gone. I don't know. I never want to try and sugarcoat what happened to me and what happened to my family and what I've had to do to come to where I am at in life. And some people, it takes them forever. It may never come to them to where they are in life, or they could easily get it done in 6 months. It's all a race. And we all have to have I guess not even a race, it's a chapter of trying to understand and decide. Because I think that was a big thing for me, was deciding where I was going and what I was going to do next, and then deciding if the destructive path I was going to go on was the good path, or was the right path for me, which in my way of thinking, it wasn't. It was unhealthy. It was destructive, and my mental capacity was taking a toll, and I just felt like I was going backwards. I was falling back down into the 6-foot hole that I was in when I first had to cope with the passing of my mom, and cope with everything that was going on within the last 5 years of my life, and trying to understand everything that was going on. And I think it's interesting for me to come back and watch or listen to some of this stuff, and then just be like, wow, look at where I was at and look at where I am now. While other people are like, why do you do this? Why do you post this stuff online? Why do you talk about this? Why do you write this stuff? Man, this is really dark. Why are you doing this? If you want to know the real truth, I'm not doing it for attention. It's mostly surely to track or record and understand where I was at and to go back and understand myself. And to me, it also kind of gave me the full eye-opening experience to be like, wow, to other people, like, wow, you must